Walter, politics editor at the Des Moines Register, and welcome to the Des Moines Register Political Soapbox. A bit about the decorum here. Please keep your signs down during our speaker so that everyone behind you can see the speaker. And also, let's everyone exercise our Iowa civility and let our speaker have her say. Our next speaker is Stacey Appel, running for the 3rd District of Congress. She's a Democrat from Ackworth, and she's a former state senator. In the race is also a Republican from Van Meter, David Young, and there are 2 third-party candidates in the race, Edward Wright of Guthrie Center, and also Brian Jack Holder of Council Bluffs. They're all seeking to replace Republican Tom Latham, of course, the longtime congressman from this district. Stacey Appel.
Woo!
Well, hello. I'm so glad to be here at the State Fair. Thank you so much for coming. This is one of our favorite things to do as a family, to come out to the fair, so I am so honored to be able to talk to you today and tell you why I am running for Congress here in the 3rd District. I am running to support middle-class families. For too long, we have not had a person that is supporting our middle-class families. I looked around about a year ago and said, we can do better. I can do better. Our middle-class families deserve somebody that cares about education, that cares about making sure our teachers have the tools to teach our children, to prepare them for the 21st century jobs. This is personal to me. I have 6 children. I care very much about education. We need to make sure that we are creating jobs here in this economy, here in Iowa, to make sure good paying jobs for our middle-class families. And we need to make sure that we are supporting our Social Security and Medicare. On the 79th anniversary today, that we make sure we keep the commitment to Social Security. Let me tell you just a little bit about me. My background, I was a financial consultant for 12 years. I helped folks figure out their retirement and figure out how to put their kids through college. We'd sit at their kitchen tables and figure out what was important to them and how they were going to make it happen. And then I served in the state senate and became the assistant majority leader there. We did major pieces of legislation when we were in office. Very first bill that we did was to increase the minimum wage. We increased the minimum wage to $7.25 an hour. And that was 7 years ago. And don't you think it's about time for a raise? The very first piece of legislation that I led on was preschool for every 4-year-old in the state of Iowa. That is what I ran on for the state senate. And when I started, we only had 5,000 kids getting a great first start. Now we have over 25,000 kids going to preschool and getting a great first start. Even my own last 2 children went through that preschool program. Some of your own kids have gone through that, or your grandchildren have gone through it. So you know how terrific that is. Thank you. I led the way on the statewide smoking ban. We created the strongest indoor and outdoor smoking ban in the state of Iowa, in the country. At that time, we had 20% of Iowans that smoked. Now we're running down to single digits. And it's great to have a small part in adding years to families' lives. You know, when I was running for the state senate, we had been out door knocking all day, and we went to a restaurant to get something to eat for supper, and the waitress came up to me and she said, "Stacey, I know you're running for something, but what can you do about smoking here in this restaurant?" She said, "I don't smoke, but I feel like I smoke a pack a day." And when I pushed the final button to final passage on the statewide smoking ban, I thought of her and other people just in the same situation. So I think that's a fantastic piece of legislation for the state of Iowa. It's done wonderful things for our state. Another piece of legislation I led on was equal pay for equal work. We were first in the nation to pass that piece of legislation, and so important for the people of Iowa. We are one of the highest dual income earners, and we want our wives, our moms, our daughters to be making the same amount as the guy standing next to them doing the same job with the same experience. When I passed that piece of legislation, so I'm running it on the floor, and you are so intense on what you're doing. So I didn't know what was happening all around me. And when we passed it and I stopped and looked around, there were women 50, 60, 70 years old that had tears running down their eyes thinking, and they were saying, thank you, finally we got something done. And wouldn't it be nice to have a woman's voice in Congress that represents the state of Iowa? I led the way on reorganizing state government, making government more effective and efficient. We saved $250 million, and those savings continue to save and save every year. But I couldn't have done that all by myself. I had to work with both parties to get that done. I had to work with the Democrats, the Republicans, the Senate, and the House. We worked with managers of the departments, we worked with employees, we worked with citizens, we worked with businesses, and everybody brought great ideas. But getting a large piece of legislation like that and saving that kind of money for Iowa taxpayers makes you have to sit down and listen to folks to get things done. And that's what we're missing in Congress right now. Nobody's talking to each other. The gridlock is there, and it's not going to stop until we send different people up there that want to get things done. So today, I ask you for your vote in November. I hope you enjoy the state fair. Go get some of my